My brother's wife leaned back at the dinner table with a smug grin. Zelda, when we move into your duplex, I expect the master bedroom to be remodeled. It's only fair since we'll be there long term. Laughter rippled around the table as if the decision was already made. My parents nodded in quiet agreement, dismissing the years of my sweat, sleepless nights, and every cent I'd poured into that home. To them, I was nothing more than the unmarried daughter, an extra piece on the board they could shuffle whenever it suited them. Before I continue, don't forget to subscribe and share this story, because what happened next left everyone stunned. I gripped my fork so tightly it nearly bent. My father leaned back, satisfied with himself. Your brother has a family, Zelda. You don't. He needs security. You'll figure things out. And my mother added with a careless wave of her hand. Be grateful you can help your brother. It's not like you're really doing anything with that place anyway. What none of them realized was that every brick, every corner of that duplex had been paid for with sacrifices they never bothered to see. They assumed I was the weak one, the quiet daughter who'd never push back. But while they dismissed me, I had been building something far greater, something that would turn their little plan upside down. When they least expected it, I slid an envelope across the table. Mason, my brother, snatched it up with the same smirk he'd been wearing all evening. But the moment he unfolded the paper, the color drained from his face. What do you mean? This isn't ours anymore, he stammered. The room fell into silence. My mother's fork clattered onto her plate. What do you mean it's not yours? Zelda, explain yourself right now. I leaned back, heartbeat racing but voice steady. That duplex, it doesn't belong to me anymore. It belongs to my company. And my company doesn't do free rentals. My sister-in-law's confident smile vanished in an instant. She ripped the paper from Mason's trembling hands, scanning the lines with frantic eyes until she read aloud. Signed over under property trust. Controlled by... Her voice faltered. Controlled by Zelda Holdings. My father barked out a laugh. Zelda Holdings? Don't make me laugh. You don't have the brains or the money to run anything with holdings in the name. I let the silence hang, savoring their discomfort. Remember when you told me to stop wasting time with those online jobs? The clients you mocked? They're the ones who built my business. And now that business owns not just the duplex, but 3 other properties across town. My mother shook her head as if trying to wake from a bad dream. This is ridiculous. You? Buying property? Running a company? No, you've always been the weak one. I smiled, sharp as glass. That's exactly what you wanted me to believe. But while you worshipped Mason, I was busy creating something none of you could even imagine. The air grew heavy. Mason slammed his fist on the table. You can't just throw us out. We already told the kids this was going to be their home. I leaned forward, meeting his glare without flinching. Then maybe you should have asked me before building your future on my walls and under my roof. I'm not the little sister you can step on anymore. As their voices rose in chaos, I calmly pulled out a second envelope, thicker, heavier, and set it on the table. The room froze. Their anger shifted into uneasy silence, as if they already sensed the contents would crush whatever control they thought they had left. Mason stared at it like it was a ticking bomb. His jaw clenched. His wife gnawed at her nails. Go ahead, I said quietly, my eyes burning. Open it. You wanted my life, my home, my hard work. Now you'll see what that really means. Mason tore it open, his hands shaking. His lips moved as he read, his voice finally breaking into words. This is an eviction notice. His wife's face turned ghostly pale. She snatched the papers from Mason, eyes darting furiously across the lines as her voice pitched higher. Effective immediately. Tenants must vacate within 7 days. Zelda, what is this? Some kind of twisted prank. I crossed my arms. No prank. That duplex is managed by my company. And when people try to move in without a lease, without permission, and without respect, they are treated like any other trespasser. My mother slammed her hand against the table. How dare you talk to your family this way? We raised you, fed you, gave you everything. I cut her off, my words sharp enough to cut glass. You gave me nothing but constant reminders that I wasn't good enough. Mason got the cars, the tuition, the endless support. Me? I was left to scrape by alone. Do you know how many nights I cried myself to sleep believing I was worthless? How many shifts I worked? How many meals I skipped just to pay for that duplex you're all so eager to claim? And now you think I'll just roll over and hand it to you? Not anymore. The room sank into silence. My father leaned back, his eyes narrowing. So now you think you're better than us? Just because you conned your way into some online hustle? I laughed bitterly. A scam? No, Dad. I built a legitimate company. I have contracts, employees, investors. While you were mocking me, I was closing deals that could buy this entire neighborhood if I wanted. Mason's wife shook her head, her voice shaking. This can't be real. You don't have that kind of power. You've always been pathetic. I leaned forward, lowering my tone until every word landed like thunder. The pathetic one just handed you an eviction notice. The pathetic one can cut the power in that duplex with a single call. The pathetic one now owns more property in this city than you've ever set foot in. So maybe it's time you stop underestimating me. Mason's face flushed red, veins bulging as he slammed the papers onto the table. This isn't over, Zelda. You can't humiliate us in front of everyone. I tilted my head, a cold smile curling across my lips. Oh, Mason, I haven't even begun humiliating you. Reaching into my bag, I placed another document on the table, thicker, embossed with gold seals that gleamed under the light. The A shifted instantly. My father squinted, my mother clutched at her pearls, and Mason's wife leaned forward like a scavenger circling prey. Mason ripped it open, hands trembling, desperate to expose a bluff. But as his eyes skimmed the pages, his expression collapsed. His lips moved, and finally he choked out. This is the deed. I nodded slowly. Not just the deed to the duplex, that's nothing. What you're holding is the portfolio transfer. Every property I've bought, every contract I've secured, it's all there. Duplexes, condos, rentals, dozens of them, all under Zelda Holdings. My mother gasped so loudly it echoed through the room. Dozens? You can't possibly afford all this. I leaned in, my tone steady, almost calm. Remember when you laughed at my late-night freelance jobs? When you sneered at my so-called computer work? Those contracts became partnerships. Those partnerships became investments. And those investments turned into millions. Quiet millions. While you were busy putting Mason on a pedestal, I was buying the city piece by piece. The silence was suffocating, broken only by Mason's wife whispering, millions. I locked eyes with Mason, my voice razor-sharp. So next time you think about moving into one of my properties for free, remember this, you'll be filling out a rental application like everyone else. And considering your credit score, I wouldn't get my hopes up. The blood drained from his face. You looked into my credit. I smirked. Of course I did. That's what landlords do, Mason. They run credit checks to see if tenants are dependable, I said evenly. And guess what, Mason? You're not. My father slammed his hand down, trying to summon his old authority. Enough of this circus, Zelda. You will not humiliate your brother in front of his children. I turned toward him slowly, letting the silence stretch until the tension was unbearable. Humiliate him? Dad, I've lived in humiliation my entire life. You called me worthless, told me Mason was the real success, treated me like I was disposable. But tonight, the tables have turned. Because in this house, in this city, every brick you're standing on belongs to me. The A froze solid. My mother covered her mouth in shock. Mason's wife broke into tears. And my father's face looked like it had been struck with lightning. Mason, trembling with rage, snatched the portfolio and hurled it back at me. You'll regret this, Zelda. You think you've won, but you've just made the worst enemy of your life. I caught the folder mid-air and stood tall, meeting his glare without blinking. No, Mason. I didn't just win. I reclaimed every ounce of respect you all stripped away from me. And the best part, you haven't even seen the biggest surprise yet. His words still echoed around the dining room, but I remained steady, clutching the folder like a weapon. My voice sliced through the heavy silence. You think I've shown my final card? No, Mason. This, I tapped the portfolio lightly, was only the warm-up. All eyes followed as I reached into my bag once more, pulling out a sleek black envelope sealed with a strip of gold. My father scoffed, trying to mask the tremor in his voice. Another one of your theatrics. Enough already, Zelda. We've entertained this little game long enough. I placed the envelope flat on the table and slid it toward the center. Open it, if you dare. This time my mother snatched it up with trembling hands. She ripped the seal, scanned the page, and within seconds the color drained from her face. Her lips shook as she dropped it like it had burned her. Mason's wife seized the paper and read aloud, her voice cracking. No, it says Zelda Holdings has acquired Dad's company. The room froze. My father shot up, red with fury. Impossible. That company has been in our family for generations. I locked eyes with him. Correction, it was. Until you defaulted on that loan. The shares were sold, and I bought them piece by piece. While you were too busy mocking me, I became the owner. Gasps rippled through the room. My mother whispered, This can't be real. Mason slammed the table, his voice breaking. You destroyed us. I leaned closer, my tone calm but laced with steel. No, Mason. You destroyed yourselves. I simply stopped letting you destroy me. Gathering the documents, I straightened, my cold smile sealing the moment. You thought I was weak, but tonight, you've learned the cost of underestimating me. Enjoy your dinner. It's the last meal you'll ever eat at a table that doesn't belong to me. And with that, I walked away. No longer the overlooked daughter, no longer the silent underdog. I was Zelda, the woman who rose in shadows and returned to own everything they tried to take. The world that once mocked me was now mine to command. And for the first time in my life, I was free.